All right, so hi, group of people I've never met before in my life.
Hi.
I'm MrCab. This is
Hi.
Mario 3. This is a video game that has excellent hitboxes and no RNG. What other lies can I tell?
There's no auto scrolling.
I thought we agreed not to talk about that. Wow, Glib the traitor here.
I mean, Sky was gonna bring it up eventually.
Yeah,
eventually,
that's true.
yes.
That's true.
Every time.
So I was gonna say we're gonna throw in, somebody's got to keep track of this for me. We'll throw in like another $1 every time I die, for every extra hammer brother, for every hand, and for every time Sky brings up auto scrollers. That's gonna be the plan.
I was with you until you said Sky bringing auto scrollers. I don't have that much money. I'm gonna go broke.
Yeah.
I know, right? I might run out of money here.
So are you gonna change your splits, Cab? Or
no, that's a good idea. I don't want to
Okay.
run against my dodgeball splits. I mean, I could.
Why is this run plus 47
What's going
minutes or
on?
something like that?
So far behind.
Yeah. All right. So if we're ready to start. Okay. So let's get this started in 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey.
Hey.
So
And it's everybody's favorite world, World 1. World 1 is actually one of the more challenging worlds in this game because of the amount of tricks involved. It's a very reset-heavy world, and a lot of speedrunners just don't enjoy World 1 for that reason.
already getting hit.
Yeah. The game tries to teach you a whole bunch of new mechanics that they have for you, and the levels of Mario 3 are very short. So in order to do that, a lot of the stages are really, really jam-packed, full of stuff. So World 1 is actually definitely one of the most difficult runs or worlds to do optimally, and you add that in with like a really quick, just reset and go again. You
Yeah.
end up a lot of times just cycling through World 1 constantly.
This is what I get for playing dodgeball instead of playing Mario 3 today. But we're good. We're good. I heard we were ahead of schedule anyway, so I did promise to fix that.
That's only one so far too, Mr. Cav. I think you're good.
Yeah, 1-2 has a early speed strat. I'm not entirely sure how to get it. Like, I know if I'm gonna get it or if I'm not gonna get it. I just didn't get the other jump I wanted to get.
It's really dependent on, you have to be really, very precise with how you're jumping and whatnot, because of how the game checks for P speed and whatnot. We'll probably talk about that a little bit later, but yeah, 1-2, one of the really more difficult stages to get it. And here, Cab was going for a trick to grab the leaf while keeping his P meter and just fly straight up. Another one of those stages that you see that little block right next to the leaf. Makes it really, really tough to get just in that right spot in order to hit the block and then jump up. But you do see that he's grabbing the whistle, but this is Warpless. Cab, you want to say why you're doing something like that?
Because it's faster. Realistically,
There you go.
yeah, the going through the end of that fortress and fighting Boom Boom is a lot slower than just grabbing that whistle. Of course, that does mean that for the rest of the run, I have this whistle that makes me warp and will DQ my run if I actually use it. And believe me, there have been some pretty infamous cases of that happening in tournament races and everything else. I also, though, just got rid of my tail because having a tail is a liability for going fast in this game. Yay, I did it.
What a legend. Does the Superman jump?
Nice, Superman. Yeah, that's a very tough jump. Yeah,
I just added that to my strat collection like this month.
No way, really?
I mean, like, I could do it, but I wasn't like doing it on a regular basis.
Right, yeah.
Alright, so Cat's gonna try to grab the fire flower here as the stage expires. Nope, guess not. I've seen some people try to do that to save, like, frames, but it's like a very tiny amount.
Yeah, if you grab the fire flower after the star fades out, it saves you about a half a second because the timer for the level to end will keep running during the power-up animation. So it's a little tiny time save, not gonna make or break a run, but it's just one of those little things you can do.
Well, it has to be actually after the star fades out?
Yep, yeah, once the star fades out, you can grab it and you're good.
Today I learned.
Yeah, We used to think that you wanted to do it like as late as possible, which you sometimes would run the risk of not grabbing the fire flower. But then somebody like looked into it and was like, oh yeah, as long as you just grab it after the star fades out, you'll save the time.
I just thought it was after you collected the chest. So everybody,
yeah,
we're all learning together here on the stream today.
Everybody's learning. I just saved you a free half second. We should note though that that fire flower will only spawn on specific spots on the map. Where the Hammer Bro ends up. That's the only spot in this run where that matters, but there are some other spots where if a Hammer Bro is on there, a power-up will spawn in that location.
Larry, please.
Oh,
wow.
Got the jump in Larry.
You know what?
Yeah,
we're just stomping on Larry. Fire kills are a thing.
The most important fire kill, in my opinion, is the one in World 3 against Wendy. You do not want those candy rings to go crazy, as you see later on. Actually, in my opinion, even casually, the fire killing is the best way to kill Wendy.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Wendy is just terrible.
Yeah, the fire kills on the Cooper Kids save a couple of seconds here and there, but especially one like Wendy, it makes it a lot safer to do it. So.
Yeah.
But now Cab's gonna be moving on to World 2. This is probably one of the more easy worlds to do, just because the game's not trying to teach you as much, so the levels are a bit more wide open. There's a couple of stages that are really, really straightforward in terms of doing the run, the speed run for them. That was a very interesting bounce off the music block, but it worked.
I keep getting the kind of corner clip on the music block a lot. I'm more confused that I think I killed the Goomba by stomping it and by killing it with the fireball at the same time.
Oh yeah, you can do that.
Also, too, you'll notice at the end of each stage, MrCab will pick up a card. You do not want to get 3 of a kind, because otherwise you get extra 1-ups, and while that's great casually, you don't want that during a speed run. If you get 3 mushrooms, it's not as big of a deal. I believe Midge told me you barely lose any time, if at all, on that. But if you get 3 fire flowers or 3 stars, that's a little bit of a different story.
Yeah, I think 3 mushrooms loses you about 2 seconds. 3 fire flowers loses you about 2.5 to 3, and then triple star is about 4.5 to 5 seconds. If you're running at P speed, most of the time you'll get a star. So what most runners will do is either in the second or third of the set, they'll do like a little turn back or a little shuffle or something just to get a different card, and that usually works out.
See if we can keep P-Speed through this pipe. Nice. Your jumps just go ridiculously further with P-Speed.
Oh, yeah.
Like, having P-Speed in this game, it's kind of silly how important it actually ends up being, as opposed to just kind of holding right and jumping through things as appropriate.
Yeah, this seemed like a game where they really did want you to be getting P-Speed and using it very, very often.
No early hammer. Dang it. So, before World 3, if the Hammer Brothers are shuffled in such a way, and it's not very common, I believe there might be a way to manipulate it, though. I've heard things through the grapevine about that. But if you do not know how to manipulate that, the odds of actually getting the Hammer Brother with the hammer in World 2 to fall there is that. So you may think, why is having a hammer important there? Well, there's some overworld interaction that happens there, where a hammer can actually skip 3 stages if you can get it before this. There's also the semi-fast hammer as well, and that's if MrCab were to pick it up after this stage, I believe. But
I think that's a music box.
Yeah, I think that's the music.
Yeah,
box.
I think I saw him. I think I saw him move to the right.
Yeah.
World 2. When was this clip? Like a year ago now?
Yeah, it's been a little over a year now, where you've actually some viewer actually noticed that the Hammer Bros will face certain directions, and that will kind of tell you which one that they have. So the one that the hammer has will face to the left as soon as they stop moving, and the one with the music box will face to the right. So that's kind of made it a little easier in a couple of different worlds. If you're not exactly sure which bro is which, it can kind of help you figure out which one you want to get.
So yeah, optimally, we don't fight extra Hammer Brothers like that one. It's about 20 seconds, roughly, every extra one we have to end up fighting.
Yeah.
Which is why...
Wait a really?
Something like that.
It does depend, too. The World 2 bros are actually ones, because you have to wait for that boomerang to come off the stage, but each of them are about 15 to 20 seconds. There is a possibility Cab can maybe skip a bro later on in World 5, which would make up a good portion of that time. But that's going to be, again, completely up to luck, which if you are leaving anything up to chance in this game, sorry.
I mean,
Yeah,
optimally, you just don't fight any of them anyway.
Right.
What Glib means by that on a much larger scale is in World 8 there are 3 optional levels, and you have no control if you enter or not enter those optional levels. Those are the hand stages. We'll get to that later on in World 8, but just know Mr. Cab has the potential to play up to 3 extra stages, in Mr. Cab's case 2 extra stages, because that first hand always seems to grab him.
I, for whatever reason, the last couple of days, cannot get past that first Buzzy Beetle. Like, he gets me every time. But it's not a big deal.
Some damage there. Yeah, not a huge deal. Taking damage a little early on in World 2 is not great because there's no fire flowers anywhere. But if you take a hit in the pyramid, it's okay. There's a fire flower right on the airship, and you should be able to get back to fire nice and easy. You kind of mentioned it earlier, but in general, you want to have fire flower kind of as your main power-up because it allows you to preserve P-speed throughout the level. If you have a tail and you're at P-speed and you jump, the game will start a timer, and when that timer runs out, you just lose your P-speed. But as long as you're moving well enough, the game will never take away your P-speed if you have Fire Flower, Big Mario, Small Mario, etc.
Basically, the game's mechanism to make sure you don't just fly through everything with
right, exactly.
Much like another Super Mario game we all know and love.
Yeah, they took that away in a different... What happened?
Now you just tap left everywhere. We love you, Super Mario World. Off good game.
Now, also, Glib, correct me if I'm wrong, doesn't it take a little bit of extra time to grab a power-up on the airship?
Yeah, you still have to wait. The game will pause for like a half second as it goes to the power-up animation. But in general, picking up, wasting just a little bit of a half second for an auto-scroller to keep going is probably the least amount of time loss you're going to see if you're having to pick up an extra power-up somewhere.
Okay. Not too bad. That was actually a solid World 2 for me. The only time loss was fighting the Hammer Brother.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you looks like it was pretty decent other than just having to fight that extra bro, unfortunately.
Such is this game. Like, if you start running Mario 3, you need to have a little bit of a tolerance for RNG, but at the same time, the game's just fun.
Yeah, it does eventually become a point, like, obviously at any level, getting extra levels to have to play is bad, but there is a lot of things you can do to kind of work with the RNG that the game gives you in any run, but no 2 runs of Warpless usually end up the same. There's usually some weird wrinkle that will pop up every time based on Hammer Brother movements or whatnot.
That was 3-1. Is that the only water level in the run? 4-4.
Yeah, 4-4, but we barely see water in 4-4 because of a skip we'll see during it.
Yeah, the least amount of time you spend swimming in this game, the better. Swimming is just the slowest movement option that there is.
Whoa!
So there's a couple of different ways to do 3-2. Mr. Cab is doing what I feel is one of the most...
I have 33 coins, but I'm good.
One of the most... the ways in which the runner does that the most of the time. The other thing I've seen is P-speed throughout, and I've only seen a handful of runners do that. But the jump strat there is one that we see commonly in marathons. Yeah,
the P-speed build in 3-2 is very, very difficult, very precise. So even the best runners will occasionally mess it up when they're going for it. So it's one of those that unless you're really, really looking for those last few seconds, nice 3-3.
That's probably the best 3-3 I've ever had.
Yeah, that was really, really smooth. That's a tough stage because if you at any point kind of get off your rhythm, since the stage is moving up and down, it can completely throw you off. So that was very, very nice. So Cab fighting the first Hammer Bro here. He's gonna want to hopefully fight both of these Hammer Brothers before reaching over to 3-6. The reason for that is you see those bridges in the top right of the screen constantly moving up and down every time Cab finishes a stage. Wait, hold on. This important trick.
Dang. They patched it.
Oh, they passed
You
it.
went for door 3, Cap.
You gotta go for third door.
We
It's a
discussed
marathon.
this before the run. You had to go for third door in a marathon run. It's a rule.
Yeah. So he was trying to do a one-frame trick to re-enter that door and go straight to Boom Boom, but it's very, very difficult,
You
obviously.
either save like a couple of seconds or you lose all the time. I just lost going back to do it
Yeah.
again.
It like saves 6 or like loses 12, something like that. But I didn't finish my thought there. The bridges that move up and down, if they're set up in a correct way, you can actually use a cloud that he has to go past 3-6, go all the way to 3-8, which skips most of the second half of the world. But if you die at any point, or if those Hammer Brothers get away from you, you kind of have to scramble to make something work. But it looks like Cab, he did get some water bros, which is a little unfortunate, but did fight both of them, so the bridges should be set up correctly.
Yeah, if you want to be safe about it, you try to put off fighting the Hammer Brothers as long as you can there. They obviously both just moved in my path, so oh well.
Yeah.
Get fire here instead of in 3-9. And let's not fall in this pit. Throw a fireball at Lakitu because he deserves it.
Taking the extra time to ruin Lakitu's day.
I mean, Lakitu is going to have its revenge in 4-4 anyway. All right.
You're just tempting fate, honestly.
Rule 1 of Mario 3 Warpless. Do not die in 3-8.
Nice shot there on Boss Bass.
Of course, it's a stage that is rising and falling. One-hit KO Boss Bass in it, but looks like Cab's gonna make it out just fine.
We got the
Yeah,
jump.
if he were to take a death there, oh nice. He would have had to go back and would have had to play through 3-6, which is an auto scroller that obviously you don't want to play if you don't have to.
Don't want to ever see 3-6.
Except in Hundo. Hundo owns.
That's true.
I have opinions about Hundo.
Yo!
Yo, he got
The
the
H
little H jump.
That is a very, very difficult jump to do. You have to kind of really set up your P-speed and your jumps correctly, but it saves quite a bit of time if you get it, so very nice there.
I'm playing on a CRT, and I feel like I have to like pre-push A before I land to get that jump. It is a weird jump.
Yeah, you have to. There's a music block on one side and empty space on the other. The block you have to jump off of to make it work. So it's not easy at all.
Yeah, if you like land on that music block at all, you will just get bounced in the air, completely lose all your momentum, and have to just mine your way through the ice blocks. Not that
Yeah,
it's
remember-
hard, but it's slow.
Yeah.
Remember
yeah.
how we told you all not to die in 3-8? Well, don't die on this airship and don't lose your fire on this airship because, again, it's more of the same. If that airship goes to the wrong place after you die, it's the same thing about 3-6. And that's if the bridge isn't up either, so...
Yeah, if you do die on an airship, it'll just kind of fly over to some random spot on the map, and it has definitely seen it happen before, where it ends up in just some spot where you got to play some extra stages in order to get to it.
Yeah,
But I'm not worried about it. Cab's got it.
No,
Oh,
Kev's
God.
got it.
Wow. No pressure.
The faith. It's no pressure. It's all faith.
Yep. So we talked a little bit about fire kills and Koopalings and everything else, and that Wendy fire's the way to go. The one thing I think we didn't really mention about it is Koopalings have weird hitboxes. Their head is the only real spot where you can hit them with fireballs, so if Wendy starts hopping, this might get a little interesting. The dodge is here, but 10 fireballs.
You did it!
Yeah, nice. Yeah, that's a really tough one, and you definitely do want to go with the. Saw that after first time she threw out another ring. Same thing happens with the second jump, so you end up getting 3 rings just kind of floating around. So if you can stay on the ground and keep those fireballs right in her face, it is definitely faster and safer.
Yep.
So depending on what type of strats, World 4 can either be a really easy world if you're doing a more intermediate, we'll call it anywhere between 57 and an hour.
You're gonna
Or
see that.
if you're going for about 52 through about 55 or so, World 4 is horrible from my understanding. 4-1 in particular, I have been told by by Mitch and crew and Lasso and Oglib that P-Speed here is basically impossible and a nightmare.
Basically. So we're not even going to try. This level doesn't even look like it's that long, and you're not even really seeing that many of the straightaways, but yes, you can get P-Speed here, and how much time does it save?
I want to say it's not too terribly much, but enough where if you're going for world record, you obviously want to P-Speed
time
the
save is
entire
time
stage.
save.
Yeah, exactly. I still don't understand in 4-2, if you're in the land of the giants, why isn't there a giant boss bass in this stage? Never understood it.
I don't think anybody's ever understood that one, honestly. As much as none of us want to see boss bass, it makes sense. That was a very awkward yet successful 4-2.
4-3 now, this is actually where most speedrunners learn how to use P-Speed the first time. I know this was my first stage where I learned all about P-Speed and how to utilize it, at least the first half of the stage. Second half of the stage is pretty tricky to keep P-Speed throughout that portion.
Oh, that jump always terrifies me.
Oh, goodness gracious, Cab. Good job. That would terrify me as well.
You know the only bad thing about taking damage there is? We're going to see water in 4-4.
Yeah. But first, a Hammer Brother.
So we want to fight that one. Has a cloud. So the next 4 Hammer Brothers we see, the 2 in this world and first 2 in the next world, have a P-Wing and a star. First, though, I know we're going to go underneath to get the fire, but I'm still going to prove this just to show it off. If you go that way, you can save a lot of time. But I want that fire flower because we are going to get sniped at the end of the stage, and I don't want to be small.
You just gotta say no sniperino. It'll work if you say that.
No sniperino. No sniperino? Hey.
See, I told you.
Oh, and he shoots the Lakitu even to boot. Nice.
Lakitu deserves it.
Yeah, that one has ruined a lot of runs from my understanding.
If you do go the top route in that stage, you are very likely to spawn a second Lakitu as well, which will just kind of rain more spiny eggs down on you and make you even sadder. I'm also sad I got the star bro, not the P-Wing bro, but oh well.
Yeah, in general, these bros here, you want to get, between these bros and the first bros in World 5, you want to get 1 P-Wing, and then in both worlds there's 1 star and 1 P-Wing. So you see Cab getting the P-Wing here, so that'll let him use a music box at the beginning of World 5 to skip past the 2 on the bottom. So you want 1 P-Wing, and once you get that, you can kind of just skip the rest of them if you can.
Yeah, I'm probably going to try and get the P-Wing in World 5 still, just because I'm me and I haven't gotten comfortable not getting it yet. But I've very often at this point, I'm starting to find that P-Wing left over in my inventory more and more.
I would say during marathon runs, I mean, depending on runner's comfort, mind you, I am still a big proponent of getting an extra P-Wing for the 7th airship, because it's very long and some of the jumps can be very difficult.
Yeah. Airship 7 is a little terrifying.
Well, yeah, and there's 3 items riding on it. So right before we'll get to Airship 7, we're going to be using 3 different items to get there. And if you die there, all 3 items go to waste. It's always been a fear of mine, even as a speedrunner of this game.
Hang on, I have to do a thing here.
We're coming into the blistering World 4 airship. This airship, for no reason at all, moves twice as slow as any other auto-scroller in the game. So Cab will be big chillin' on this airship for about 2 minutes.
I've heard that people have found sales on washers and dryers during this airship.
Yeah, this is a good time. If there's any donations, or if you do want to plug the charity, that'd be a great time to do that right now.
Seriously.
Oh, yeah.
This is the time to go and donate if you were sitting there waiting to donate.
We do have 1 donation. by Manix86.
Yo, shouts to Manix.
Donation in the amount of $5.50. These games are not Mega Man 5. But I'll forgive you for one night, putting this towards covering up Samus's bikini. Oh my.
Justin
oh my.
Bailey.
And we've just received a hefty $55 donation from MrCab55.
I know that guy.
That's the runner himself. And with the message, greetings from the World 4 airship. Really fun run, glad to be here. Save the children and stop complaining about auto-scrollers.
I heard that.
I'm just saying. So this is probably the one thing about this airship. Make sure you get that jump. If you have a tail, it's really easy to do. I'm sure a lot of people did that casually when they were playing the game. But it just saves you from going through this little gauntlet. And if for whatever reason you want to see this airship scroll a little bit further, there is actually a power-up on the other side of that pipe. Shoutouts to Iggy's hitbox.
Yeah, not a fan of Iggy's hitbox here myself.
That's 2 runs in a row that's happened to me now.
Yeah, it seems like Iggy jumps very, very quickly, and sometimes the game will just not update fast enough, and it'll see that instead of seeing Mario's feet above Iggy's hitbox to hit him, it just sees it inside and goes, oh, guess you took a hit, even though you really didn't do anything.
And it appears we have another donation.
Yo.
This one's from KLM1187 for $10 with the message, Washu, talking about MrCab.
What you talking about, MrCab? What's up, KLM? KLM also very good at dodgeball. That was 5-1 without fire. It's a little more annoying because you have to keep jumping over the dang nippers. P-Wing Bro is still on the bottom. 5-2. Oh god, 5. Who wants to talk about 5-2?
5-2? I just won't talk about it until... Okay, you're good. So, I was wanting to take this top route here because it's much, much easier and much faster to take it. If you do not make it all the way up, you fall into what is commonly known as the Pit of Despair. You take a nice, long fall to get down to the bottom, and then you have to go through this really, really difficult section with a lot of spikes throwing ice blocks at you and whatnot. So, much easier and faster to take the top route.
As Glib would commonly say here, don't beef it.
Yeah, you just definitely don't want to beef it in. That's really the strat.
This guy
So
talked
moving into
about
the
4-3 earlier, and that was like kind of the P-speed level. I somewhat disagree. I think, well, man, I just screw up because I'm talking.
This one, Cap.
Yeah, 5-4-1 is kind of like the P-speed level.
Yeah, this is another stage, I think, between 4-3 and 5 ground 4, the favorite stage for a lot of speedrunners, just because of how cool and how fun it is when everything goes right.
Yeah, it's kind of like that stage where you play it and it's like, oh man, I did the things. All right, we're doing it. I'm going to skip that P-Wing.
Dang, Kev being brave.
You can get this power up, though. It's going to take some little bit of time.
Yeah, keeping P-speed throughout this entire tower is something that still baffles runners, and sometimes ruins runs up till this day. It's no laughing matter to try to keep P-speed throughout this entire tower.
Shouts to the Sunday sequence break, by the way.
You have to, you have to like manage your P-speed. Every time you come out of these pipes, there's a little bit of something different you have to do in order to keep it through the next room. So, very, very difficult stage technically. One of the most difficult ones to do in the run.
I still haven't even really begun to learn everything you need to do to really make it work. The only other thing you want to do in this stage, every stage in a world that has quote-unquote normal Hammer Brothers, just check that coin count, because we haven't even talked about white coin ships yet.
Yeah, I guess we haven't mentioned it yet, but as Kat mentioned, in the stage that have normal Hammer Brothers are World 1, 3, 5, and 6. If your coin count is a multiple of 11, and the tens digit of your score is the same digit when you exit a stage, it'll turn one of those Hammer Bros into a coin chip, which is a long auto scroller that you really don't want to have to deal with. So throughout the run, there's different spots where you can either adjust your coins or adjust your score to kind of make that not too big of a deal, but it's one of those things that, like, the second you take your mind off of it, all of a sudden you've got a white coin chip on your overworld screen. You don't know what to do with it.
That's why in World 3 you heard me kind of say at one point I have 33 coins, but my score is okay.
Yeah.
I was like paying. Usually whenever you have a pipe transition at the end, you want to check that. Every tick on the timer when you clear a stage is worth 50 points, so it can kind of flip that tens digit in your score. So even if you have a setup, it's good to just kind of look at it. You have a chance to flip it the other way. That said, it's also good to look at it because you don't want to flip it to it either.
Right. Yeah.
It always seems to happen at the most inconvenient times too. I mean, I always play this game when I do actual runs. It doesn't happen as often, but like the minute I would be on a good run, or we'd be somewhere like GDQ Hotfix, for example, was the last time I had gotten a coin chip. I'm like, really? Here? Why?
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things you have to be aware of.
Shoutouts to Bowser's architects and engineers who somehow put lava on the ceiling here. It's an amazing feat.
I don't think we've ever really truly answered what's going on in 5F2, how Bowser pulls that off.
Yeah, coin chips, something that, like, you know, casually you just always go for it. It's like amazing. I want to get those 168 coins. I want to get the 1-up. Speedrun, last thing you ever want to see.
And there is a remedy if it happens during a speedrun and it's a not important Hammer Brother. You can smush yourself. It does cost still quite a bit of amount of time, not as much as if you were to play the entire chip out. But if there is something you need in there, such as a Jugum's Cloud, just hit the reset button at that point. It's not fun.
Just like to point out, we cleared 5-8. We didn't take damage, and Nintendo Power says it's literally impossible to clear that stage without taking damage.
Damn.
So we proved Nintendo Power issue number 13 wrong.
Okay, I'm clouding over the worst stage in the game 5. Moving on to the World 5 airship.
Wow.
Yeah.
The debate rages on which is the worst level, 7-4 or 5-9. At the end of the day, nobody likes either of them.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't like 7F2 either.
7F2 is not a fun stage. Yeah, they're all bad stages. These are all stages that, if all goes well, we don't see during the run. Although I will admit, hammer strats on 7F2 are kind of fun. So, Roy is our boy, as I'm told.
Roy is our boy.
Roy's been hitting the gym, and every time Roy hits the ground out of a jump or something, the floor's gonna shake and we're gonna be stun locked for a little bit. So let's hope that doesn't happen, because once that happens, you generally end up dying, even if you're fully powered up.
Yeah, just with how he jumps and kind of the timing of it all, it's very easy to go from Fire Flower to big to small to dead if you happen to mistime your jumps with Roy.
Whoa, A button, where are you? You saw that little turn back in the corner. That was the first time I thought I pushed A, and then Mario didn't jump, and it was like, oh god!
Now, if you've only played this game casually, you may think, why isn't he jumping to get the wand? Well, actually, jumping to get the wand makes your descent slower. So you don't want to do that. You want to stay on the ground when you receive the wand.
It's true. There's the one exception to that is if you can grab it like the first frame it's available at the top of the screen, then it's faster to get it there. But unless you have a P-Wing, that's not likely to happen.
Yeah, unless you have a P-Wing or you're going to try to wall jump up, it's not going to happen. You just want to wait. You see Cab's going to actually use this pipe here, use his second hammer to skip past 6-1, 6-2, and 6-3. The hammer is going to feel bad that Cab doesn't have any hammers now, though, and he's going to give him enough to use later on in the world.
One thing I will add there, because we were talking about coin ships, if you enter World 6 or any world with a coin ship, At first, the Hammer Brother does not change into something, another white coin ship. But in World 6, because you immediately go through that pipe, coming out of the pipe will actually trigger it. So don't do that. These spikes, if I had fire, I'd be damage boosting and running across with P-Speed because it's a lot faster. But there's some awkward sort of power-up animation things where if you go from big to small, your iframes are a lot shorter than if you go from very big, I don't know, fully powered up to just big.
Hi, Boom Boom.
Hi, Boom Boom. Bye, Boom Boom.
Bye, Boom Boom.
Thanks,
With the
Gleb.
upside down question mark.
That's why I got hit and went straight to Small Mario there, by the way. Just to get there fast. There's a lot of stuff going on. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, there's a lot going on in 6F. So that's not a big deal. 6-4 though, a stage where you can sometimes get P-Speed, but it's actually sub-pixel dependent. So most runners will just take that kind of safe little spot towards the beginning, get the P-Speed in the middle, and take it all to the end.
And taking all that damage. Come on, go right. Do I want to do this? I'm doing this. I just don't want to fight Hammer Brothers on ice.
If you defeat Boom Boom with a star, yes, it is always upside down. Only with a star, though.
That is the cloud, though. So the other bro that's on screen right now, actually a star, which Cab isn't going to need. So he does get lucky, at least that he got the cloud from that Hammer Bro.
So right here, Mr. Cab is going to take a sprite of any kind. In this case, it's the shell. Oh, we didn't get the despawn though. That's okay though, because it still works with the shell. I have seen people take a block and/or shell up there and get the despawn with the nippers, but in this case, what Mr. Cab did was perfectly fine. Barely lost any time, if any. So.
Yeah, I haven't worked on the despawn yet. That was kind of the. That's probably like the fastest way of doing the stage without glitching it out. But if you can get despawn, you get one less nipper up there, and then you can just tail through the blocks.
Yeah, so moving into 6F2 now, this is a stage that really kind of tests your knowledge on using the meter with the tail. You see that it ran out just kind of right as Cab was making it up through that second section. It's a pretty nice stage there. That's one of the few spots in the run where you really have to be good with the tail. But Cab did very well
there. It's like 2 or 3... There's only a handful of stages in this run where you really kind of want to use tail strats. Based on all the kind of P-Speed stuff we were talking about earlier. Of course, the tail is still kind of useful. We can still... No, that's... Well, it's okay. We're just going to not use it.
Did you see that shell clip through the bottom?
Yeah, it just kind of bailed out. Hitboxes in this game exist, we promise.
Like Iggy's.
Yeah.
But speaking of effective tail strats, though, I don't know what type of clip Cab's going to decide to go through, but I do know, and he's in chat, and they're in chat, Ace Arrows actually goes for a tail clip in 7.1, so then the tail can be used in 7.2 to hover over the gap. So that is one of the few places where I could see, if as long as you're good with clipping with the tail, it's utilized pretty well in that spot, unless you know 7.2 P-Speed, then that's, obviously a different story.
I've been working on 7.2 P-Speed. I've been working on 7.2 P-Speed, but I'm still kind of at a point in my life where I'm making use of the tail to do it.
So, this is a fortress clip. Not a big fan of this one.
This is a really weird fortress. There's a lot of enemies just kind of everywhere, and navigating through it can be a bit of a pain. There's also, you can actually, if you get lucky, basically, it's sub-pixel dependent, but you can actually clip through the floor towards the end there, skip that middle room, and go straight to Boom Boom, but that's a very, very precise trick, and you don't always get your way with it, so.
You get a P-Wing from World 6?
When you finish it?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think it's a music box.
It's funny we say that, because ideally, if you're mashing through the cutscenes properly, you do not want to see that icon. So after a while, people are like, wait, what'd you get at the end of this world? I don't know. usually mash through it.
There's a thing there, and my inventory looks right, and I just go.
I don't know anything about this game. I just know the route.
Honestly, I just saw one P-Wing, and we were talking earlier about, like, well, I usually still get that P-Wing. And like, oh, wait.
Oh, yeah.
What's going on here? Am I going to have enough? Because usually, like I said, I use 7.2. I tend to P-Wing it. And then 7.6 you want to P-Wing. So
you might have one
logic,
on like a second page. You might have one on the second page. You haven't used any like extra ones, quote unquote. So
yeah,
you're either gonna get one here, or you have a second page. I'm not sure.
I did want to congratulate Mr. Cab for becoming the most recent member of the 56 Club.
Yeah, last night did it, despite the fact that this run's already on probably on 58 pace. Let's not lie.
I still believe in the casual 57.
That's what I do, is 58.
If I can, if I get no hands, that'll save me 20 seconds later. This is Lemmy. You want to finish Lemmy with at least, well, you just don't want to be small, so that's how you basically do it.
Yeah, it's a pretty quick fight if you stay on top of it.
Stomp Lemmy, stomp ball, repeat.
Yeah. So yeah, the reason though he wants to be big is for this next stage coming up here, 7-1. Normally kind of a pipe maze stage where you're trying to find your way all the way to the top, but Cab just isn't going to be about that life.
The thing is, I'm not about to bang my head against that wall because I'm about to bang my head against that wall.
You can do it.
The best description of this clip is, yeah, it was a P-Wing. Is to slam Mario's skull against a corner until the game says, fine.
Because that's how things work in video games.
Getting subpixel here.
Yeah, it's twice now.
Yeah, these are legit good attempts. In a way, this clip reminds me of Forced Evolution 2 Yoshi clip in Super Mario World as well. Well, it's what it reminds me of. Come on, Cab, you got this.
The game doesn't like giving this to me anymore.
Yeah. So, like, if you see Cab kind of like stuttering in the air just a little bit, that means he hit the right spot, but his subpixel was not good enough. So, and there's really nothing you can do to really kind of adjust that while you're in the middle of this.
The last couple of days, I just have not been able to do this. That's another one.
All his mechanics are there. All the mechanics are there, Cab.
Yeah, you got subpixeled again. Oh my gosh. Game, please.
There we go. How many tries was that? What do I owe?
20-something.
Yeah.
20-something? I got 20-something.
You cheated not only the game, but yourself.
Wow.
Wow,
you gained nothing.
Wow.
You risked nothing.
Wow.
Come on.
Wow.
That's a topical meme.
That's topical.
That's a topical
It
meme.
is, but dang.
So, this stage, a lot of people know there's a gap here. We're gonna fly over it shortly. That is covered by invisible note blocks. It's this one right here with the Paracoopa. And if you fall in there, you get to, reveal enough of those note blocks so that when you go back and retreat around it, you can kind of go over it. There's a normal P-speed strat. Using the P-Wing here is basically still more effective than playing the stage normally. If you have a tail, which makes it harder to do the 7-1 clip, you can also just kind of hover over it normally.
Yeah, there's a couple of different options in terms of how you want to route. Honestly, like the majority of World 7,
What's up,
there's
Tyler?
a couple different things you can do. But Cap's gonna want to try and hang on to this, to this tail for the next few stages.
Whoa! This might... Dang. Well, I got Lakitu at least.
Ah, darn.
You know what? We're just gonna play the fort as intended.
Okay, that's fair.
I'm gonna show everybody where it is, because this is actually not a joke. First, we are gonna cloud over the worst stage in the game in 7-4. And I actually, about like 2 months ago at work, somebody was like talking about a level in Mario 3, and they said like what it was, and they said they had no idea where to go. So this is, if you don't have a tail and you don't have a P-wing, P-winging is kind of the optimal way to do this in a speedrun. But if you don't have a tail and you're in this empty fortress and you're like, how do I fly up to this pipe? What do I do? This is the way.
Yeah, 7F1, another one of the puzzle stages that you kind of to go. That's the only spot where you can get a tail, and you need to fly up in order to get to Boom Boom. So normally if you have a P-wing that you can use there, that's what you'll do, but this is the quote-unquote intended method.
Yeah, optimally I would have never used the P-wing in 7.2 and known the P-speed strat there, and thus I would have still had that P-wing to use here. What I wanted to do was not lose the P-wing in 7.3, and then I didn't get the second star that I would have used to crash through Lakitu and tried to kind of handle it. But here we are. Because I want this P-wing here to fly over this really just catastrophe of a stage. 7.6 is actually kind of an interesting stage, but it's long.
Yeah, it's the stage that uses the kind of arrow platforms that can move one way, or ones that you can jump on to have them switch directions. It's kind of a different mechanic. It's only used in 2 stages, but you can just fly over the stage in the speedrun, and then you're done.
It is important to state that also 7.6 can be clipped like 7.1. Is it easy? No, but can it be clipped? Absolutely.
Yeah, you don't have quite the same amount of room to kind of build up the speed that you need to clip in 7.6.
There's a hammer suit in that block.
It's a bit tougher.
Oh, you're not going to try to carry it to the end, Cab?
No, not today.
Yeah, there is a route to do where you grab the hammer suit there in 7.8 and carry it with you for the rest of the game, but it's very, very close from all of the timings I've seen as to which route is actually faster. And it's very, very risky to get the hammer there in 7.8. If you get hit at any point from here until the end of the run, you've basically just thrown away all that time that you did by getting the hammer suit, so...
Now, speaking of clips, Cav can also clip along the underside of this level, but you could also get stuck. Anyways, what were you going to say?
Oh, I don't even remember anymore.
Well, dang, I was just trying to bring that up before you exit the dang level.
I was going to just like talk about the fact that like the reason you would want to get that hammer suit and carry it all the way to the end, using hammers on Bowser is by far the fastest way to take out Bowser. It's just that there's no fast way to actually obtain a hammer suit. The 7.8 hammer suit is probably one of the faster ones, but it's, again, risky to hang on to. That kind of leaves you with the World 6... Oh, first jump. World 6 Toad House above 6.5 is guaranteed to give you a Hammer Brothers suit, but it takes a long time to listen to Toad say, "Welcome to my house of strange..." No, that's a different one. Whatever. You know, Toad talks. He talks for a lot. Nobody likes Toad. But he does give you a hammer suit.
The Toad House takes like 20 to 25 seconds or something like that, and you only save about 10 to 15 for the hammer suit kill versus... If you get it there, it's not worth it, but you can get that hammer suit in 7.8 and mitigate the time loss from that throughout the rest of the stages, and also with the hammer kills, so...
Yeah, the hammer there, I think one of the more fun things about it, because we talked a little bit about 7F2 as a fun stage if you have hammers. Well, there you go. You get that 7.8 hammer suit, and then you can start taking out thwomps, killing dry bones permanently, and doing all sorts of interesting things in that fortress that you would not be able to do without the hammer suit. At which point, you would either clip 7.9 rather than trying to fly over the first chunk of it, or you would skip over 7.9 entirely. Because there's another route that says, save that cloud for 8 Fortress, and play both 7.9 and 7.42, but that gets into math of this game I haven't done yet. Yeah,
the slowest stage that we still do in the run is 8F. So you can elect to save your cloud and play both 7.9 and 7F2, but beating both of those stages in a manner that is faster than what 8F takes is very, very difficult for both stages. So most runners, you'll see, like what Cab did, is they clouded over 7F2. Most runners will cloud either 7.9 or 7F2. That'll be the last one that they use, and then they'll play 8F. There's also another thing that we'll talk about when we get there about why runners elect to hang on to their cloud, or not hang on to that cloud in World 8 and play 8F.
Ludwig has been hitting the gym with Roy. Neither one skips leg day. I think I lost like a ton of time in World 7, and I'm going to call most of it 7F1. Also 7-1.
I was going to call a lot of it 7-1, yeah.
So literally these PB splits actually also have like a terrible 7-1. Like they were 30 seconds ahead coming into World 7 and 3 seconds over coming out. And the only thing that went wrong in those with these strats was 7-1. 8-1, I see that Ace Veros is calling it out in chat. 8-1 is the level where I've been spending that extra P-Wing that I don't have right now, so...
Yeah, that's another level that some people decide to either cloud over or use with P-Wing. That's a very difficult stage to do optimally. But I hope you guys didn't miss the auto-scroller in World 7, because we've got 2 more coming up for you right now.
I said stop complaining about the... Okay, yeah, World 8's... World 8's a
I
thing.
did not say a single thing about
That's true. You've been very good this entire run.
Sky's been very good. Thank you, Sky.
No, what I was gonna say is I have been told that if you do not know full P speed strats in 8-1, that the P-Wing isn't too much of a time loss, per se.
I haven't timed it myself to know, but I would believe, because flying over 8-1 definitely isn't too bad in terms of you avoid a lot of the obstacles you have to kind of navigate around doing the P-speed, so it probably doesn't lose a ton.
There's a leaf in that block.
I mean, if you really wanted to be technical, you probably lose time because you have to do an extra Hammer Brother for it. That would be my only guess.
Yeah, that's where you're going to lose a lot of time. Not using wing or you're having to pick an extra one up.
The way how I do it is, so I don't use a P-Wing in 7F1. I just use my tail instead. So whatever P-Wing I would have used for that, I use that on 8-1.
That makes sense.
You just saw a whole lot of lag, and if I knew what I was doing with this video game, you would have not seen that lag. That's part of the like little bit of time save you can do on this auto-scroller. Just make sure you do kill those bombs. Don't like let them stay on the screen. We're gonna see, yeah, the Boomerang Brother got the boomerang off, so we gotta wait for it to disappear, much like everything in World 2, before we collect that star.
Yeah, he could have saved a couple of seconds had he gotten lucky enough to get the fireball there. It's completely up to chance. The Boomerang Bro will wait to throw until he gets killed. But now moving on to the classic boats.
Boats?
Another kind of just back and forth auto-scroller, not too much going on, although we can talk about what's coming up after the boats.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Now Cab, a friendly reminder, don't look at the screen when you move across the bridge. Can you do that?
I know not to look at the screen. If I look at the screen, the first hand will appear.
Yes, Cab is notorious for summoning the first hand upon any run that he watches, including his own. So it's not just a blessing, it's also a curse.
It's true.
But each of these stages coming up is a 50-50 as to whether or not he will get pulled into the stage and have to play it, or whether or not he'll be skipped over it. And since there's a hand that comes out and grabs you, we call them, and they're annoying. And you don't like to see them in Warpless, because you can lose up to a bit over a minute if you end up getting all 3 versus getting no hands. But it's completely up to chance.
Shouts to Boat Swag.
That's some pretty good boat swag. It definitely helps. It's not some superstition we made up. Getting good boat swag means you won't get many hands.
Yeah, Cab's looking away. I'm seeing it.
I hear that the Mets are on national TV tonight. I gotta get this going.
Yeah, how are the Mets doing? Yeah.
Yeah.
What a goal!
It worked.
So that was a 1 in 8 chance of getting absolutely no hands, and he's got to be careful now. Though the Air Force moves at twice the speed of normal auto scrollers, so it is pretty tricky. It's not a stage when you have a like Fireflower or a Tail or something like that. It's a little easier because you can take out the rocky wrenches, but you still, especially when you're on a no hands run, little extra pressure in the back of your mind.
Yeah. Now I've got the cable in the back of my ears here because I did actually turn on the TV to try and put on the Met game during that.
Also, contractually obligated to mention that here's the Karua during
Here's the what?
2017 2D Mario Relay. That's where Karua died.
Oh
Gotcha.
no! Oh no!
You cut out for just a second there. That was where Karua died in the Mario Relay.
Dang it, Glib!
I mean, really,
It has to happen.
in
If
any sort
everybody's
of-
gonna mention me dying in 7-3.
I'm supposed to mention you dying in 7-3. That's true.
Yeah, I
Really?
know. I didn't mention it. Everybody forgot. I just didn't.
It's the love of the Mario community that we remember where everybody dies during important situations. Ah. Okay, that's why 7-1 is a stage. Also, trying to get P-Speed here. Well, if I knew I didn't have it, but you're supposed to, I believe, like, do a duck jump there to preserve it while you're sliding. To make sure you don't
Yeah.
lose P-Speed.
Yeah.
So 8-1, I've played it enough in my life because I'm an old man. I've been playing this game since I wasn't even roughly 10 years old, I guess. So like I can beat 8-1. That's not the problem. The problem is beating 8-1 fast.
I have a comment from Lasso here that says, I'm contractually obligated to mention that Kura died in the 8-1 in that former 100% world record.
That is true.
Yeah, that also happened.
Should I go for this jump? I don't often try this jump.
Go
without-
for it.
All right.
Yeah,
we're
why
going
not?
for it.
All
I
right.
believe it.
We made it.
Yeah,
You did it!
it's a very tight jump to clear that gap. You're pretty much right at the end of the of your platform before that. So very nice.
All right. A lot of runners who are better at earlier stages in the run will have a star to use here. I used my star elsewhere, so there's that section without a star.
Yeah, that's really the only little time save. It's kind of like this is the last spot where
Oh,
using
no.
a star really helps. Uh-oh. Oh, that's bad. So, Cab's gonna try to make it to this last door before the P switch runs out, but he
Just
kind of
missed.
hit the... Oh, man, yeah. He
Barely.
hit the P switch itself really awkwardly and kind of fell down instead of keeping his momentum, but he does get to show off this little cool trick where he just kind of clips through the door.
What?
So that's nice.
Wait, I haven't seen that, honestly.
You have to enter
Yeah.
like, the far right of the door, and it's actually patched in All Stars.
Yeah, they moved that
Oh,
door
okay.
over in all so that it doesn't do the same thing.
Just another reason why All Stars isn't as cool as this version.
All Stars is largely the same, but has a weird camera angle. I think the iframes are different, but
the iframes are
it does give
adjusted.
you the same US cart version of power-ups, going from big, not straight to small, but to fully powered up to just big, which is why you don't want to play the Famicom version of this game. But Oglib, what am I doing?
Well, you're currently doing what's known as the world-famous, patented, Day 1 affiliate, Oglib Super Tank Strat TM with a Vengeance. This is because the only thing I could do in this game is find an auto-scroller stat. You can actually just stand on the very right edge and just kind of spam your fireballs as you're going, and anytime it looks like you gotta jump, you just jump, and you can get through the stage with no problems.
The safest part of the screen actually is the right edge. You want to throw
Yeah.
fireballs constantly for those the wrench throwing moles, but also that's the second bomb in the stage I've kind of caught and kicked. If you're not mashing B, you'll just stomp it and it will kind of land and not despawn and explode in your face. So
Yeah.
mashing B, important there.
Yeah, just about every other auto-scroller has something put in your way so that if you're just on the right edge of the screen, it'll mess you up, but that one just conveniently does not, so it, one of the easiest stages even amongst the auto-scrollers.
I promise you that is an Oglib stratis. We've been doing that for, geez, since our nightlies.
Yeah,
It's so good.
Absolutely
Yeah.
patented on Glib Star. You had a star. Oh, you're using it here, okay.
Yeah, this is
I
where
got
I'm
you.
using the star to make sure I
That's
don't
fine, yeah.
lose fire against those lasers.
Yeah,
Whoa!
Kev definitely wants to hang on to fire here as it makes the Bowser kill
just gonna-
much faster.
This is the People's Clip. Lasso's here to say the most electrifying clip in sports entertainment.
Yeah, I think that's one that's actually mentioned in Nintendo.
It is.
So it's one that everybody knows about. But now Cab just has to shoot 35 fireballs at Bowser's stupid dumb head.
It's gonna
and then
be
he'll die.
the baby version of things. And I didn't even get him to break bricks. There is a fast version of this where you kill him on top of the door. Let's get hit there for fun.
Yeah, nice.
But if you're nervous about getting hit by Bowser, that's a thing you can do too. He jumped awfully fast there, it feels like.
Yeah, that was a really quick. That would have been a
not
tough
ready
Bowser
for him
to deal with.
That's why he got turned around kind of in the air. That's time, by the way. And he didn't break through the bricks at all.
Nice run.
We got a 58 anyway, despite all the bad things that happened.
You did it.
Also, for reference, that's the first time in a while I've played 8-1 semi-normally instead of just using a P-Wing for it, and I lost the time I would have saved for that hand, so I only saved 6 seconds instead of 20. That's Mario 3. It's a fun video game. You should play it. We have weekly races on Tuesday night of this exact category. You should come. Just come and play the video game.
Yeah, it's a really fun speedrun. I've learned a whole bunch of different games, and there's no game out there that feels like Mario 3 does when you.
Yeah.
Hold up, what version do you have?
This is PRG 1, sadly.
Oh no!
If you're playing, there's 2 versions of this game on the
Yeah.
NES, PRG 0 and PRG 1. PRG 0 has actual interesting world names instead of this catastrophe of a name.
Yeah, you get Oceanside instead of Waterland.
Big Island.
Big Island instead of Giant Land.
It's so much better.
It's clearly the superior version.
It is. I'll have words with my uncle later. This is actually the cart my uncle got me for like my 9th birthday or something. So,
Oh jeez.
so I mean,
Wow.
yeah, I'm not replacing it. Sorry.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah. Shoutouts to my uncle, by the way.
Shoutouts to Cab's uncle. Shoutouts to shoutouts.
But yeah, that's the video game. And we're gonna lower the curtain on this run here. Haha. And Lib, Sky, thanks.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Anytime. Thanks for having us. Great run, Cab.
Yeah, and shoutouts to Tech too. Everybody here.
Shoutouts to Tech.
And shoutouts to Save the Children. And shoutouts to Pixels for Peace. That's the channel we're on, right? Pixels for Peace.
Yeah.
Yes.
Thanks everybody.
Rolling out.
Have a good night. What's up next? What are we gonna be watching next?
Thank you for that marvelous. Very, very good. GG. Now I know what Super Mario is. A shape-shifting man can turn into a raccoon that shoots fire. Haha, I like it. I like it. Next up, we have Street Fighter 2 Champion Edition. Now that's a game I can get behind. Yes, that will be run by Sonic Man 2005 for the Genesis. Coming up soon, so stay tuned. I'm your host, Andronicus the Acceleratum. Got lots more in store for you tonight.